and welcome to Business PNG. On this edition of the show, we're in the beautiful Honolulu for the 15th Western and Central Pacific Fisheries Commission, where they discuss everything about tuna in the South Pacific. The Western and Central Pacific Fisheries Commission met in Hawaii, United States for the Commission's 15th tuna meetings. Representatives from the member states discussed tuna measures for the vast region's waters, including Papua New Guinea's. With claims and counterclaims by global powers that the Pacific is their strategic sphere of influence, sub-regionalism has been touted as the best way of cooperation to address complex fisheries issues for members of the WCPFC. Tuna has shaped regional politics and influenced the relationship between Pacific Island states and major trading partners, including China, Japan, United States, Taiwan, South Korea, and the European Union.
There's a number of issues the Commission outlined as priorities, but I think the key priority for Papua New Guinea at this point in time is the harvest control rules and the review of the existing measure on tropical tuna. And particularly for Papua New Guinea, the most important fishery is the skipjack fishery, and also important to PNA members. But it's got a lot of implication. If it's got measures, within the measures, we have arrangements that are not in favor of our development aspirations, onshore processing. It's got implications on the marketing, employment, and some other indirect benefits that we're getting from that fishery at the moment. So we have to be careful and watch what goes into the review of the tropical tuna fishery. Now, for us, there's a lot of measures that we already taken in country. So it's now time for the Commission to address gaps and issues in the high seas. So we have complementary measures. You know, it's whatever is applied in the high seas is compatible to what we have already in zone. So it gives us the complete management aspect to addressing issues in the fishery, and not bias or causing disproportionate burden to Papua New Guinea and small island developing states in general as well. So those are the kind of issues.
In 2017, forum leaders in the communique elevated fisheries as a standing agenda item at their annual meeting. Fisheries ministers at the 2018 meeting decided that they would create a regional fisheries ministers meeting, which would better allow them to also take into consideration coastal fisheries.
As a PNA country, we are small island nations. But as for us, Papua New Guinea is a big larger than the rest of the members. So for us, it's very important that we stand together as one. You know, we speak for one another, we support each other, we encourage. That's the whole PNA is all about. And we gather together early like this so that we show our solidarity during our meeting in WCPFC, because there's big countries like US, Thailand, Philippines, they coming in with all sorts of pressures that are coming in, that we must stand together to protect our interests. And we PNA countries, the 50% of fisheries is, we almost have 50% of fisheries activities done in PNA waters.
Papua New Guinea's Fisheries Industry Association has warned delegates at the Tuna Commission to ensure their national interests are protected from the threat posed by distant water fishing nations wanting to extend their jurisdiction of fishing rules. Chairman Sylvester Pokajem said members of the Western and Central Fisheries Commission must fight for their rights together.
Now, this commission is sometimes been construed by parties, especially distant water fishing nations. This commission is established to manage the high seas within 20 north and 20 south of WCPFC. But every time they want to encroach into our in zones, and try to apply the measures that they think is best in our in zone, and we said no. Through FFA and through PNA, we said no. These are waters under national jurisdictions, which are exclusive economic zones, and we have the power and the authority to put in measures. And that is why we always come here, make sure that our interests are protected. Now, for the archipelagic waters, internal waters, like I've been saying since day one, this is a sovereignty. Archipelagic waters is a territory of Papua New Guinea. Commission has no mandate over archipelagic waters, and that's non-negotiable.
Pokajam said the WCPFC was formed to manage the high seas, but external fisheries interests had encroached into management of the exclusive economic zones of some Pacific nations. At the moment, Pacific Island nations make up a slim majority of members of the WCPFC, but with other countries interested in joining, that advantage could be eroded. While decisions within the WCPFC are usually taken by consensus, a vote can be called as a last resort. Pokajam said it is important Pacific nations audit cooperating non-members carefully to ensure that they are in compliance with Commission regulations. Pokajam explained that members must ensure that the interests of coastal states are protected.
Solidarity within the FFA member countries or Pacific Forum countries is very strong. However, we have a regional or sub-regional arrangement through parties to Nauru Agreement. That is also very strong. Most of the measures are driven by parties to the Nauru Agreement because why? More than 50% of the fish stock is found in these party waters. And we take control and we take ownership of this. We will not allow anyone to dictate. We dictate to them whether they like it or not. And with the FFA member countries, when we come to this Commission meeting, we speak as one voice. We speak together and we will stick together because we are up against the distant water fishing nations. Some of them are very, very powerful nations in the world and are members of the United Nations, But we, in this area of fishery, in our area, we don't take any second chance. We fight for it.
Pokajam said the Pacific always remains united and nations had made some sacrifices for the sake of solidarity.
I'm Leon Gerari in Lorengau, and you're watching Business PNG.
For years, Pacific Island fisheries officials were driving blind for lack of information on the commercial tuna fishery they were mandated to manage. Catch data, vessel locations, transshipment activity, use of fish aggregating devices, this and more was controlled by fishing nations, with little information available to inform management decisions by island fisheries departments about their resources. The Integrated Fisheries Information Management System, or iFIMS, however, has revolutionized management of the tuna fisheries by the parties to the Nauru Agreement. The system, developed by Papua New Guinea's National Fisheries Authority, now contains section for data for the NFA, PNA, fishing industry and flag states that have oversight of fishing fleets.
Prior for the establishment of the Integrated Fisheries Information Management System, we have a paper-based way of collecting the data. And you know that in any knowledge in fisheries, first of all, the data collection is important. And the paper log sheets, which the captain of the vessels fill out, and then the normally for one pursuing trip is about 60 days. That's a normal. So after 60 days, the vessel goes back to its port, and then it sends the paper log sheets to the licensing authority. So for this instance, it sends it to NFA. So this will take up about maybe 6 months, 7 months before we receive a paper log sheet. So when a paper log sheet comes, our data entry operators, they get a paper log sheet and they scan them. They scan all the data entry log sheets and then they upload and they send to SPC. They email to the Secretariat of the Pacific Community in Nomea. So when the information is received at Nomea, the SPC have a data entry operator over there. So they receive the paper log sheet and the data entry operator enter the data again. So you can see the process, it takes you a year. So to do a stock assessment data and information to understand the stock status of fish. For example, if the information is collected for 2018 for paper trail, if you're doing a paper trail, the date information won't be available until 3 years after. So to know the 2018 status stock of tuna, then you would know it in 2021, 22. Then you will know the true value of the tuna stock status in our waters. So that is the really challenge on a paper trail. So after 3 years, you know the stock status.
Prior to electronic reporting, it could take 3 to 4 months for daily catch logs filled out by purse-seine vessel captains to get to fisheries managers in the region. The iFIMS platform integrates fishing industry reporting of catch, vessel position, and activity data generated by the vessel monitoring system and fisheries observer reporting. Through the industry database, companies can see their own boats and catch information and apply electronically for licenses through their portal. Data related to catch and vessel activity, in particularly exclusive economic zones, can be viewed through iFIMS by individual PNA parties.
The Integrated Fisheries Information Management is a fully web-based integrated system. The system is built in a web-based platform, and the system is integrated application. So when I mean integrated application, that we started back in 2009, and we've developed about 14 modules in the system. We are now looking at, because of all this information integrated, so when you click on a vessel on the GIS map, so when you click on that map, the drop down will come down and it will tell you exactly the name of the vessel, the latitude and longitude, that's a GPS position, the course and speed where the vessel is heading, and also it will tell you which observer is on board the vessel. And it will tell you how long the observer is there. The system will tell you how long the observer is there on that vessel. And you will receive the near real-time information on the catch on board. If the captain catch 50 tons today, you will know exactly how much big eye, yellowfin, and skipjack tuna caught today. You will know it by posting it into the system. And after we have this, all those 14 modules built, we have added our dashboard. It's good for our managing director. That you just click on the dashboard. It's very user-friendly. You just click on the dashboard. It tells you exactly the summary of catch caught today by all vessels. And you can drill down by click on the graph, and it can take you down to the next level and tell you which vessel have caught so much fish. And you can click on it, it can tell you which captain is actually doing well. So that shows the whole historical data of information that's all integrated.
In December 2018, for the PNA Ministers' meeting in Honolulu, Minister for Fisheries and Marine Resources, Patrick Basa, announced that Papua New Guinea is moving forward to purchase the information management system for the PNA. Put simply, iFIMS is a one-stop shop for fisheries management. According to Mr. Karis, it holds industry, government, and flag state information. No other system in the world brings together in one system these three most important parties for sustainable management of the fishery. iFIMS has easy big-picture applications such as the iFIMS dashboard, where managers can immediately find out at any time how many purse-seiners are in each of the 9 exclusive economic zones managed by the PNA VDS, or how much tuna tonnage has been caught in the region to date. Mr. Karis said the number of fisheries observers feeding catch data into iFIMS from their electronic tablets will continue expanding until the entire Pacific observer force of about 800 is performing electronic reporting to iFIMS.
The feature of iFIMS, one of the very, to summarize iFIMS, the iFIMS is a system where it's collect and collate all tuna fishery stock assessment data, which comes from catch log and observer. It's a monitoring, control, and surveillance tool that we have compliance data that looks at all these data sets. And also, it has the data for market, the catch traceability. At the end of the day, we want to market the fish. So the new development that now we are working closely with the Fishing Industry Association under the Marine Stewardship Council certification program is that we are looking to build a Fishing Industry Association FIMS. So that application now will be made available, and some of this data will be pushed to the FIA, Fish Industry Association, under FIMS, but you can say the blockchain technology that will be overlaying. You see the blockchain technology. So we want to see that our fish caught by Papua New Guinea and through the MSC process that the Fishing Industry Association is now working towards establishing with FIMS, is that a family go to the Europe Walmart. You buy a can of fish there. You buy RD or you buy a Frabel can of fish, Isabella. And you can put it on the counter, take it back to dinner to make a sandwich. Europeans like to make sandwich. The son will say, hey, Daddy, where's the fish caught? Oh, don't ask me. Get a smartphone and scan the QR code. So when you scan, you will see in real time the traceability where the fish was caught. Oh, it was caught in the pristine waters of Papua New Guinea. And that's the idea, to set a country and add value, true value, to our fishery stock. And that's the next work we want to do, the marketing. Sell our fish.
I'm Ian Durari in Manila, and you're watching Business PNG.
Speaking on behalf of the PDL-10 umbrella landowners in the Stanley Gas project, Mr. Limbi highlighted the urgency this road will provide for the people of Hela, Western and the country as a whole. He says the Hela Western Highway is a missing link and must be considered for construction. Limbia says people need the road.
Our main aim is to have this road access connected to Hela and Western, because this is the only high impact project that the landowners of Hela and Western wish to see before they leave this place.
The landowner umbrella company have written to various government departments and stakeholders, including ExxonMobil and oil sheds, with positive response. The road is proposed to be built at a cost of 81.7 million, but may be higher given the country's challenging economic situation.
The provincial government are the host, and they are the one who's gonna approve and endorse the project for such impact areas to the national planning for funding.
The road project is also in line with the revised infrastructure tax credit scheme guideline that was launched recently. The landowners call on Hela and Western provincial governments to work together for people to benefit. Putting a name to the road is how serious the landowners want this road connection.
We start from Hela to Shebi. I would like to call it Chief Tami Highway. And the road that starts from Shebi to Western Province, I would like to call it Chief Sal Highway. So that is the name that will remain as a legacy.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and a government delegation are expected to visit Hela tomorrow to announce major impact projects for the province.
PNG adds on to more than a dozen countries banning 737 MAX 8 aircrafts. This includes Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, China and Indonesia, with Fiji Airways and Samoa Airways the only two airline operators in the region that have 737 MAX 8 and MAX 9 on their fleet. While Air Guinea is expected to add 4 737 MAX 8 in 2020 and 2021. On Monday, Air Guinea Managing Director Alan Milan confirmed the order and also brushed off any scares.
What's going on. However, we have the utmost faith in the Boeing product. Boeing have already been in contact with us. They're keeping us in the loop. The investigations for the Ethiopian accident are still ongoing, so until those are completed, we won't really know what the cause of it is. But we're certainly sure that if there's any findings or recommendations from that investigation, that'll all be fully incorporated prior to the aeroplanes being delivered to us.
Meanwhile, the Ministry for Civil Aviation issued a media release that they are closely monitoring the announcement from a number of aviation regulators in more than a dozen countries suspending the Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft. The Civil Aviation Minister, Alfred Manasseh, also directing the Director of Civil Aviation, Wilson Sagati, to contact Air Guinea to seek further information on the intention to purchase the Force B 737 MAX aircrafts. CASA Director Mr. Sagati also affirmed that Boeing has been in touch with Air Guinea after both Lion Air accident and the recent Ethiopian airline accident. The statement stating that Air Guinea also advised the director that they continue to have the highest regard for Boeing products and will continue to work closely with them to keep abreast of any updates. While there is currently no 737 MAX aircrafts operating in PNG, the minister assured when they are introduced, CASA will ensure that a full type acceptance certification is done.
The official ribbon cutting this morning signifies the steps both mobile companies are taking to work together as one big telecommunication provider in Papua New Guinea. The retail shop, which will be selling both telecom and B-mobile products and services, marks the start of the merging. And there has been a lot of hard work and dedication put in by the technical arm of both companies for both networks to work as one.
Today we have a large number of base stations, but we've got a plan to significantly increase those in the foreseeable future. There's no question that we as the national telco have a charter to provide coverage for the whole country and services to all people. And that's something that the board is very serious about.
Inside the shop, one side has been dedicated to the wireless broadband, while the other, the sale of mobile phones. During the launching, it was announced that the 4G SIM promotion by Telecom PNG has seen the increase of customer base grow by 10,000 new customers. Under this promotion, a customer buys a SIM card for 10 kina and receives 10 gigabytes of data for a 3-month period.
From international cables, fixed line services, mobile services, the whole deal, we are the national telco, and we got to look at ourselves as being in the number one position, but also being number one in every piece.
Since 2007, more Papua New Guineans have owned mobile phones, and the numbers continue to increase throughout PNG. Thus, the merging aims to improve communication signals and internet rates for Papua New Guineans.
And that's all we have for this episode of Business PNG. For more information, or if you'd simply like to view this episode again, visit EMTV online at the URL at the bottom of your screen. Or to simply join the conversation, like our page on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at the Twitter handle at Business PNG. Until next week, have a pleasant evening. I'm Leanne Durari, and this was Business PNG.